You don't need perfect scripts, fancy edits, or Hollywood level production to build a successful YouTube channel in 2025 and beyond. And in this video, I'm going to explain my process that I use to publish YouTube videos consistently on my channel. And by consistently, I mean once per week, as this is one of the biggest reasons why most YouTubers fall off is due to lack of consistency. So be sure to stick around for the entire video. And if this happens to be your first time to the channel, welcome. My name is Ryan, and I'm a YouTuber who grew this channel from nothing to over 15,000 subscribers in just 15 months, while also earning 4 figures a month and counting just from this channel. And if you want to know some of the marketing tools and AI systems that I've used to help build this channel, be sure to get my free AI Marketing Essentials Guide. You can find the link for this in the video description or pinned comment below. So again, the first point that I want to hit on here before I get tactical is that if you visit my channel, you'll notice that I'm posting one long form video consistently at least every single week. And it's important that I distinguish that long form and not short form. With AI, anyone can blast out a million short form videos these days. And if you're in the educational space, these do not move the needle in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't use shorts. It's good to have these to supplement your long form. But if you want to actually grow your channel and build a qualified audience and build legit subscribers, I would recommend putting more time and effort into long form. So one long form video per week should be the minimum requirement. If you go study any popular successful channel on YouTube, with a few exceptions of course, in the early days, I guarantee these creators were posting at least one, if not multiple long form videos per week. And I'll be honest with you guys, I have a pretty sporadic list of YouTube video ideas where if I just think of something, I'll honestly pull up ChatGPT voice mode and just talk. Maybe I'm driving in the car, maybe I'm on a walk and I just think of videos. These are just where I brain dump all of my different video ideas. And this is good to have a list, but the issue here is A, how do I prioritize these? And B, how do I organize this to make sure that I'm posting at least one of these every single week? Well, what we can do is if you guys have a similar brain dump list, just a bullet list of video ideas like mine, what we can do is we can use AI to help us better organize this and also stay consistent. So I'm going to copy and paste my entire video list. And again, it's long. I'll just add random things here sometimes. Open up ChatGPT and you can use Claude, Gemini, Grok, whatever other LLM that you want to help you with this. And you can prompt it with something like the following. I'm going to paste my list in here. You can say, based on my list of YouTube video ideas, help me create a weekly content calendar based on what I should prioritize and which video ideas will move the needle more than others. Because there are certain videos that will move the needle more than others on this list in terms of how many views they could get, how many subscribers it would attract, how much monetization I could get from one video topic versus another. These topics are not created equally. So I'm going to leverage AI to see if it could help me kind of distinguish what videos are going to move the needle and when I should do each one. And so you'll see right here, it's creating a 6-week content calendar and helping me prioritize. Blaze AI versus ChatGPT Plus. I actually completely agree with this. Blaze AI has a very high affiliate potential. I'm making a decent amount of affiliate revenue through my Blaze AI review right now. ChatGPT Masterclass for 2025. Strong evergreen video. Covers multiple features. I agree with that. 3 ways to create better images with ChatGPT 4.0. VO2, how to automate YouTube videos to blogs. And then it gives me a high priority videos to schedule later. So this is kind of the afterwards of that first 6 weeks. But you could also ask for a 10-week, a 20-week, a 50-week calendar. I'm just trying to show you the basics here of what I would do is if you just have a general list of video ideas and you don't know how to structure this properly, or I guess how to take action. Creating a weekly content calendar is a great first step. So now that you have your content calendar created, it's actually time to take action on the damn thing and hit record and start creating videos. Well, the next step is creating a script. And I'm not talking about a word for word script that we're going to read on a teleprompter. And I know some creators do this and are telling others to do this, and that might work for you. I'm just saying for me, I found that looking at a teleprompter is actually inefficient and it actually looks kind of fake and inauthentic. You can tell when people are reading something word for word. That is just not my style. I like to be authentic authentic in everything that I do. And so now once you have your content calendar created, this is where we need to select a video. And this isn't going to be perfect. I mean, there's some in here that you might want to make before others, so don't always, take this with a grain of salt. But for this instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this video idea that I know is trending right now, which is titled "Which ChatGPT model should you use?" Comparing the GPT versus the O series. And so what I'm going to do is copy and paste this idea, and then I'm going to open up ChatGPT in a new tab, and you'll see here I'm on my Ryan Dozer personal brand project. If you don't know how to create ChatGPT project, which you must be a Plus user in order to do that, I'll leave a tutorial in the description below this video. I'd recommend using a project for tasks like this because you can train it with instructions, project files. It knows you better inside a project versus just going to the main chat. You're just going to get better outputs overall this way. And by the way, I'll leave this prompt in the description below this video as well, along with everything else that I mentioned. So this prompt right here is my video scripting prompt. Write a YouTube video script for a 7 to 10 minute video. I only want a 1-sentence hook and 2 to 3 high-level bullet points on the most important things to cover about a given topic. Focus on real-world values, stories, etc. And then what you want to do is just give it the video title and any notes that you have associated with that title. So here I have "Which ChatGPT model should you use?" That's my title. And then I just have, 3 little bullet point notes underneath on what I want to cover in that video. And then I'm going to hit enter. And I'd recommend just staying on the 4.0 model. You don't need to use 0.3 or a reasoning model to do anything like this. And let's look at the script structure that ChatGPT is going to generate for us. And you'll notice I asked for a 1-sentence hook at the beginning. The hook is one of the most important elements of the YouTube video. This is how people stay on within the first 5 to 10 seconds before clicking off and finding another one. So I always like to throw the hook on there. And then here is the general bullet point outline of the script that I'm going to go through. Use GPT 4.0 for creativity. I'm going to talk about why you should use 0.3 for deeper reasoning, live prompt comparisons. And then what I would do is if I don't like this, I'd come back and fine tune it. I would copy and paste this, including the hook. And I actually like to use the Stickies app on my Mac. So you'll see I have it pulled over right here. I'm going to delete that and then paste it in right here. And then once I paste it on my Stickies app, I'll drag this over, put it right underneath my camera here so it looks like I'm talking into the camera, and I'll actually refer to my Stickies note with the bullet points, with the hook while I'm recording the video. That way I'll look at the bullet, look up, make eye contact with the camera, and then just kind of freestyle off of that bullet point. Again, I really just don't like reading stuff word for word with YouTube scripts, and people will tell you, you gotta go word for word and buy a teleprompter. I just think that's extremely inauthentic, and I can tell when someone's reading something word for word. And as a viewer, I personally just don't like that. So this is my methodology. I'm not saying it's going to be 100% bulletproof for you. I know that this just works for me. That way I have a list of bullet points, I have a hook, and I can just expand off from there. And so now that my script is ready to go, I actually have to hit the damn record button and start talking to the camera. But if you might be wondering, well, what software do I even use? How do I get started with that? I would recommend looking at OBS Studio. I have a separate video explaining all of my YouTube equipment, and I mentioned this as one of the softwares that I use. I'll leave that video in the description below as well. OBS Studio is a completely free and open source software. This allows me to screen record my screen right now on another monitor while I'm also looking at the camera, and I have a separate camera icon that shows me talking as I'm going through a screen share. I absolutely love this software. And so once you install and get this software set up, get your cameras configured, your microphone configured and whatnot, and then you hit the record button, I'll show you my exact process of how I go through a video. Let's use this script as an example. So what I would do is I would first start off with the 1-sentence hook. I would hit record, I would do the hook, make sure it's good enough, and then I would stop it. I would not do this entire thing in one take. I would screw up. I would have a lot of breath issues. I'd struggle to breathe in certain instances. I would do a lot of other things wrong. And this has helped me streamline my process. So I would do the 1-sentence hook and then I would stop recording, and I would save that video file in a folder with the video title name so I can stay organized. And then from there, I would do point number 1. I would do an entire recording of point number 1. I would stop recording, save that in the folder. I would do point number 2. I would record all of this, save that in the folder. And then I would do point number 3, save all of this, save that in the folder. I hope you guys are starting to understand my process here. And then I would also do the conclusion as another one. So in total, for this particular script or this particular video, I'd probably have between 4 or 5 different video files that I would then throw together in a video editing software like iMovie or Final Cut Pro. But that literally is my recording process. Now, does it take me multiple takes sometimes to get things right? Absolutely. It still does to this day. I'm not perfect. Honestly, I still get jitters when I hit the record button. As I'm just talking to the camera right now, honestly freaks me out sometimes. But the point here is you need to go step by step versus just doing it all in one take, thinking that you won't make mistakes. Or maybe you get through most of this, you made a mistake, delete the entire file, and then go through it all over again. That is extremely inefficient unless you're very good on camera. I would recommend using a process like mine where we're going through bits and pieces of this, hitting record, stopping, and then piecing it together in a video editing software. Now, something else I want to talk about is the concept of batch recording. And this is something that I use every single time that I record videos. By batch recording, all I'm talking about is we're recording multiple videos in one setting. Versus you do one setting for one video, okay? Then tomorrow you're doing another setting for another video, and then another video on Thursday, another video on Friday. No, you want to try to do all 4 of those videos in one recording. That way, this can help you save so much time and schedule videos out. That way you can be more efficient in your creation process. And so if we go back to our previous example here where I created the content calendar, what we can do is follow up with this in the exact same window and say, now do 10 weeks, but reorganize based on what videos I should batch record. The more similar the videos, the easier it will be to batch record. And so here it's telling me to batch record the following: Blaze AI versus ChatGPT Plus, ChatGPT Plus versus Perplexity, ChatGPT Plus versus Google Gemini, DeepSeek versus Perplexity, all relevant comparison videos. And so what I would do is in one sitting, I would try to batch record all 4 of these videos. Now, if I don't have time, I would batch record 2 or 3 of these videos. The point that I'm trying to explain to you here is you should not sit down and just record one video tomorrow, record one video the next day, record one video. You need to record multiple videos in one sitting. It will increase your efficiency 10 times. So after you have a content calendar, you've generated scripts, and you've batch recorded multiple videos, the next step in this process would be editing these videos. And I recommend editing multiple videos in one sitting. Now, if you want to outsource your video editing altogether, that's not a bad idea if you can find something that's cost efficient. I use an editor in Pakistan for my short form videos. I'm going to outsource my editing at some point, but for those who are very new in the YouTube creation world and their channels are relatively new, you're probably going to have to bootstrap this yourself if you're limited with resources. Now, I recommend using iMovie or Final Cut Pro if you're using a Mac. If you're using a Windows, I know Adobe Premiere is kind of the cream of the crop in that realm. I don't know, like Windows Movie Maker, I haven't really touched that in several years, but I'd recommend just sticking with iMovie if you're using a Mac and you don't want to pay for Final Cut Pro. This is about $300 for a lifetime subscription. And so I'm just going to show you a very basic process of how I would edit a video just for efficiency. Nothing fancy. I'm not a video editing expert or anything like that. I'm just showing you an efficient way that I would edit in video so I can move on to the next step. So here what I would do is I would simply come up here, click File, New, and then Project. And then I would name it YouTube Growth Course Lesson 5. So what I'm going to do is actually edit the video here that I'm recording. And so then we need to actually upload all the files that you were creating. So we'd click File, we would click Import, click Media, and then we would find that folder. So you'll see I have a folder set up for OBS Studio video recordings, and you also want to name your files. This will help you stay organized. Trust me on this one. So I have named my video files Lesson 5. And what I would do is I would come in here and find all those video files titled Lesson 5 and then import them into my movie maker. So it'd be either iMovie or Final Cut Pro. And then from there, all you want to do is simply drag and drop these. And again, I name these in chronological order. That way I knew where I shot at the beginning versus where I shot at the end. And then you would literally come in here and then drop these into the editing machine down here. So again, you can watch through these. Welcome to Lesson 5. And then I would simply just make simple cuts. So at the very end, you'll see what I'm doing here. Be sure to stick around for the full video. So I would use what's called the blade tool. So I'd chop that up. That way I have a seamless transition to the next for the full video. You don't need perfect scripts, fancy edit. Exactly. Very simple. This isn't some Hollywood level production stuff here. Now, one thing I like to do is throw in transitions sometimes. So I would come in here, video, leave a little space towards the end, and I would click transitions here on the right-hand side. And I like to use this Gaussian, I think that's how you pronounce it, transition. And so sometimes I'll throw in like the next scene here, throw it right at transition in the middle, and you'll see what this does to the video. And I'll be honest with you guys, so versus just that straight cut, I like kind of those simple transitions sometimes, but you guys get the idea. I'm not going to edit this full video, but that's literally what I do. I make simple cuts. I'll throw transitions in there sometimes, maybe some other minor edits that are needed. And then when it's done, you'd simply click File, and then you'd come down here and click Share, and then you would click Export File Default. And then you can name the file, maybe go over some other things with some different types and file types and sizing and resolution and whatnot, but you would just click Next, and then it would save it to your desktop in an MP4 format. But that is a very quick, high level, basically a tutorial of how I edit my videos for simplicity and efficiency. So the last point that I want to talk about in this video on my YouTube content creation process is the idea of published versus perfect. I fall into this trap literally almost every time, and I know a lot of creators on YouTube do as well. We're just very creative people, and we always want to put out the highest quality work possible. By no means am I encouraging that you sacrifice quality all the time and you outsource and you use AI for everything. There still needs to be quality in your video creation, but you cannot sit here and hit re-record 100 times over one clip. That will not move the needle. My rule of thumb is 75 to 80% perfect, I call it. So in my instance, when I'm doing AI tutorials, I'll just give you a very practical example. If I'm running something on ChatGPT and I'm trying to show you guys something and I don't like the response that I get from ChatGPT, I'm not going to redo that prompt 50 times just so I can get a little better response. So you guys are going to, probably not even notice if I weren't to do that 50 times. You know what I'm saying here is I'm trying to keep the juices flowing and move on to the next step. That is a huge flaw that I see among creators. They're perfectionists. They want to redo something 100 times, but that just will not cut it or move the needle if you're trying to actually scale a channel on YouTube. That is the honest truth that you need to hear. So if you've made it this far into the video, I truly appreciate you. And if you found value in what I was saying here, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I also want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this topic. But most importantly, I hope you all have a great day.